In 1930, the economist John Maynard Keynes made a prediction. He calculated the rate of technological progress and said that by the year 2030, humans would only work 15 hours a week. He was terrified. He called it technological unemployment. He believed we were solving the problem of production so fast that soon there would be nothing left for us to do. We would die of boredom. Well, we are nearly at 2030, and I don't know about you, but nobody I know is working a 15-hour week. In fact, we are working more than ever. Why was he wrong? He was a genius. He understood compound interest and supply chains, but he missed a variable so invisible yet so powerful that it breaks every model of the future we currently have about artificial intelligence. Right now, you are probably worried that an agentic AI is coming for your job. And you should be. It absolutely is. But the mistake we make isn't thinking that jobs will disappear. The mistake is thinking that work is a finite resource. To understand why you will never run out of problems to solve, we have to look at the time humanity almost ran out of light. To decode this, we have to ask, at what cost? In the 1800s, lighting your home was expensive. You had to buy whale oil or tallow candles. It cost a fortune to read a book at night. Then we invented the kerosene lamp. It was 20% more efficient. Politicians at the time panicked. They thought, if light is more efficient, people will burn less oil and the oil industry will collapse. It makes sense, right? If you need 100 units of light and a machine makes it with half the fuel, you buy half the fuel. But that is not what happened. Consumption didn't go down, it skyrocketed. When the cost of light dropped, we didn't just light the one room we were sitting in. We lit the porch, then the street, then the factory, then the baseball stadium. This is called the Jevons paradox. It states that as technology increases the efficiency with which a resource is used, the total consumption of that resource increases rather than decreases. Now, apply this to intelligence. Right now, hiring a human to analyze data, write code, or design a logo is expensive. It's the whale oil phase. AI drops the cost of intelligence to near zero. The lump of labor fallacy suggests we only need a fixed amount of code written, so if AI writes it, we are done. But what if demand for software isn't fixed? When code becomes cheap, we won't just write the software we have today for cheaper, we will write software for things that currently don't justify the cost. Smart toasters, personalized education apps for every single child, DNA-specific medicine. We don't consume less, we expand the definition of what is consumable.
But this leads to a darker question. For whom? If the AI is doing the smart work, what is left for the human? This brings us to the tragedy of the Space Shuttle Challenger. The Challenger exploded because of a single cheap rubber O-ring that froze in the cold. The boosters were worth millions. The science was worth billions. But the mission failed because of a $10 part. In economics, this is called the O-ring theory. It says that in a complex chain of tasks, the value of the entire chain is capped by its weakest link. If AI automates 99% of a job perfectly, that last 1%, the part the AI can't do, doesn't become worthless. It becomes infinitely valuable. Think about the ATM. When the automated teller machine came out in the 70s, everyone said bank tellers were dead. But between 1980 and 2010, the number of bank tellers in the US actually rose. How? Because the ATM made it cheaper to open a bank branch, so banks opened more branches. But inside those branches, the tellers stopped counting cash. The machine did that. The tellers started selling loans, credit cards, and mortgages. They moved up the value chain. The cash counting was the O-ring that held them back. AI removes the grunt work. It removes the friction. It leaves us with the O-ring tasks, the judgment, the empathy, the accountability. You can't sue an algorithm if the surgery goes wrong. You need a human to hold the knife, even if the robot guides the hand.
So, unlike what came before, The Industrial Revolution replaced muscle. The AI revolution replaces data processing. But there is a law in economics called comparative advantage. It doesn't matter if the AI is better than you at everything. It only matters where the AI is most efficient. Imagine you are the best surgeon in the world. You are also the world's best typist. Should you spend your time typing? No. Even if you type faster than your secretary, every minute you type is a minute you aren't doing surgery. The opportunity cost is too high. AI is the ultimate typist. It is the ultimate calculator. But computing power is energy intensive. It is constrained by silicon and electricity. For an AI to do a task that requires physical dexterity or complex moral nuance is expensive in terms of compute. For a human, it's cheap. We have a comparative advantage in navigating the physical world and the emotional world. We will trade with the AI. We will offload the compute, and we will hoard the human tasks, the negotiation, the physical care, the creative direction. Finally, we have to answer, until when? Will we ever run out of things to want? This is the ultimate philosophical argument against the end of jobs. Human desire is not a bucket that gets filled, it is a ladder. Since when have you been satisfied with just enough? 300 years ago, if you had a roof and bread, you were rich. Today, if you don't have high-speed internet and streaming entertainment, you are poor. As AI solves our current problems, coding, logistics, manufacturing, it creates new standards of living. We will invent jobs that sound ridiculous today. In 2005, social media manager wasn't a job. In 2020, prompt engineer wasn't a job. In 2030, agentic orchestra conductor or digital biology architect will be the norm. We aren't moving toward a world without work. We are moving toward a world where work looks less like labor and more like decision-making. So here's the reality. If your job is to be a robot, to repeat the same task, process the same form, move the same box, then yes, you are in trouble. Those jobs are going away. But human is not a job description. It's a source of intent. AI is an engine. It is the most powerful engine we have ever built. But an engine cannot steer itself. It needs a destination. It needs a why. And the only thing in the universe that can generate a why is you. The danger isn't that we will run out of work. The danger is that we won't be ready for the kind of work that is coming. The question isn't, will there be jobs? The question is, are you building the skills to steer the engine, or are you just trying to be a faster part of the transmission?